What's up, everybody? This is Tanner from TanmanBaseballFan.com. I am using my cell phone to record my computer monitor. We are real high tech over here, folks. But I wanted to do a quick video on the latest article that I just published about half hour ago. It's called "How Baseball Cards Were Made in the 19th Century." Whenever I learn about this stuff, I get super excited, and I feel like this duty to kind of tell you all about it also. So let me do just as quickly as I can a little bit of a rundown here. It's not going to be super professional or scripted or anything. So I'm probably going to fumble some words. So please bear with me. So a lot of people didn't really, they don't know that baseball was around in the 19th century or baseball cards. But believe it or not, baseball and baseball card collecting were thriving back then. So here's a picture, a lithograph that was done in 1863. It's Civil War era, so you see some guys from the Civil War actually playing baseball. And just look at all of the neat things that they have going on here. Sorry for the graininess because of the computer screen, but just a beautiful, beautiful piece. And it just kind of goes to show you, the level of interest that people had even back then. 1863, Abraham Lincoln was president. Baseball was being played. Now, Abraham Lincoln, by the way, he was a big fan of baseball, and the legend has it before he became president, he was in the middle of playing baseball, which we don't know if this is true or not. But a couple of people came over to him and said, "Hey, you won the presidency," and he, as the story goes, he turned over to them and said, "That's great news, but before I can go anywhere, I need to make a hit." He was at bat apparently. So, going forward, I was talking a little bit about how the hobby itself is so different now compared to then. So nowadays, if you wanted to, and if you looked hard enough, you could probably find pictures of what Andrew McCutcheon was eating yesterday for lunch. That was not the case in the 19th century. We have very little to go by. We don't have any audio. We don't have any video. There's nobody alive on the planet today that's experienced the 19th century baseball game. What we do have are woodcuts and a few other things like cabinet cards and CDVs, that sort of thing. So this is a woodcut here. And this guy, most people probably, I don't know, 95 out of 100 baseball fans probably don't know who this guy is. This is Ross Barnes. So very unassuming picture here. It's an 1874 woodcut. So this was actually created in 1874. It's actually right there. He was the guy that hit the first home run in baseball, which I believe that was in 1876, if I remember correctly. We don't have baseball cards of this guy. I mean, I think, I don't know, Upper Deck or Panini or somebody created some in the past 10 years or so, but we don't have any authentic cards aside from a CDV or something like that, I think, from 1871. But basically, if you wanted something that has Ross Barnes on it, you really kind of need to get a woodcut. So that's what people collected before the baseball card boom of the 1880s. Now, let me talk about first, before baseball cards hit in the 1870s is really when a process called Chromolithography came on and just made a splash, very colorful splash in America. So it basically enabled a lot of small companies and that sort of thing to pay a print shop, and they would create all of these full color beautiful die cut advertisement cards. They were called trade cards, which is where we get the term trading cards from, I expect. And so you would have people that would collect advertisement trade cards of baking soda or cough syrup, anything like that, because people simply had not seen anything like that before. And so here's an example. So there's, this is just kind of to show you how really fiendish people were about these trade cards. And it wasn't just limited to kids, it was to adults as well. But here you have I believe this is a woodcut, and it has two kids going to what looks to be a dealer. It says, "Please give me a picture card." "Me too." Yeah, and he says, "All out, man's dead that made him." So it goes to show you kind of as far as as far as actual the technology, the actual work or art of putting together these cards was very, very labor intensive. It took human hands to do a lot of this. So it wasn't like some huge machine that would just kind of spit them out or anything. This took a lot of doing. So that's what I kind of wanted to talk to you about now, like how that actually happened. This is a picture of an 1874 print shop, and all of this stuff in here is kind of what people had to go through. So I'll try to explain a little bit of each process of what people are doing. So there's probably a few pieces they're missing here, so we'll probably have to describe a little more in the picture below. But anyways, this here's all of the different steps that people would have to take. So if you're not familiar with lithography, by the way, lithography is I believe it's Greek for to write on stone or something, if I remember correctly. And the way you do it is you would actually have a limestone, and the limestone would be drawn on with a special lithography pen or crayon or whatever. And after that drawing is on the stone, that stone would be treated, I believe, chemically, and it would actually etch it in the stone. And what it would do is it would actually repel any ink. If you put like an ink roller, like it looks like this guy's doing right here. If you put an ink roller over the stone, like a limestone right here, all areas that did not have the lithography crayon that was used, it would repel ink. So the ink would only hold on the art piece itself, like the actual art. So whenever that was done, you would actually stamp the paper, or the limestone rather, on to paper, and there would be an impression of that picture on the paper. Now, when it comes to chromolithography, it's full color, which means that each shade and color would need a different stone, and so that's kind of what we'll go through here. Here's a 1906 set of cards that kind of talks about and shows all the steps. So step one here, we have an artist that's actually drawing what needs to be put on the stone, and it actually shows the first pass of chromolithography right here. There's two colors, so that's what it looks like. That's what the picture would look like first. Step two, they talk about how the limestones are actually mined in a quarry. And these stones can be like huge, by the way. So there's all the workers and everything. And think about this as far as how Allen and Ginter cards would be made, and Goodwin cards. So step three here is you see all of the people that have these little art pieces. This is a print shop here. And by the way, keep in mind, this is from 1906. So this is probably a good 20 years or so after Allen and Ginter was created. So this might be a little more advanced, or big time compared to how Allen and Ginter was created. The cards were, I'm not sure, I just don't know. But anyways, all these guys, what they're doing is they're taking the artwork that was created up here, and they're copying it onto the stones. And so step four, what they're doing is it appears that they're actually preparing the stones, so they could be chemically treating them and pressing them and that sort of thing. You see the stones under here. You see the stone library in the background, which is really cool. And then when that was done, here's what they're doing with this big machine that they would probably take some sort of like transfer paper, and they would transfer the same image over and over on one stone. Then they'd have this machine that would pass through these big pieces of paper to print on this from the stone here. And so they did. So the first pass, this picture would look like this. Second pass, it would look like that. Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And by the way, these are two each. So it's this picture right here actually took 12 passes for them to create. And so when all was said and done there, they would cut them up and bind them and everything. So it's really kind of a neat way to show how these cards could be created, especially Allen and Ginter baseball cards from the 19th century, or Goodwin baseball cards, or some others as well. But those are some of those popular that use chromolithography. But you see a lot of intervention with hands was used. Like a lot of this stuff was done by hand, which is just really fascinating to me. And I really do like this picture a lot because it kind of shows more of like a smaller, intimate setting of one guy working on each thing at a time. But I'm not really sure how Allen and Ginter and Goodwin cards were created. If it was more like this, or if it was more like this. But either way, a lot of interaction between humans was needed to do all of this stuff. So it wasn't anywhere near where we just kind of find an image on the computer and click print and then it comes out of the printer magically. This is wildly different. So here is my Allen and Ginter set. It's got we have a tin. It's not the tin that these would come in, but it's probably something that kids would use to keep their cards in. And so you see the Allen and Ginter guy there. And I want to kind of just show kind of like an up close thing. So I don't know how many passes this would have taken to create, but it's just so neat to think that this is actually this is a work of art. This is a piece of art that was handmade in many respects. And you take a look at this. Just look at all the coloring and just how beautiful it is. So Allen and Ginter, they did a really, really great job. They're so beautiful, and there's a reason why Topps was able to pick up this this design over I don't know 120 years later or something like that. And the Allen and Ginter name has been going since 2006. Yeah, it's one of the best, most popular brands out there right now. So it's pretty cool to see. And so one other thing that I picked up, and by the way, I want to tell you about this here, is all these cards, the fronts look basically pack fresh. The backs have back damage. Like every single one of them have some sort of back damage. Now, the reason why is because Allen and Ginter actually encouraged you to put these in albums, which is probably the saving grace for these cards, because to allow them to look so nice, is because they were probably put in an album, never messed with, and probably stayed there for over 100 years. Now, this is one thing that I'm like really excited to tell you all or to show you all is this here. I actually picked up the album. Let me pull that out real quick and I'll show you. Okay, so here it is. This is really chromolithography at its finest here, guys. This was created in 1888, if I remember correctly. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. The colors are just wonderful. The way they would bind it is with a thin rope. So this is from the 19th century here. And it's kind of difficult to open and show exactly what's going on here, but I will try. And I want to show you the creepy Allen and Ginter guys there, and and so like there are pictures of every card in the set. And so let me see if I can find some of the baseball ones here. So there's the baseball one. You see Captain Jack Glasscock at the top, and then you see Charles Comiskey there at the bottom. And Mulvey, he was actually a baseball player as well. And look at even the artwork in the middle. Like just, you see the glove and the bat and the ball. That's so neat. Just a neat thing. You've got these, I think they're oarsmen billiards. And by the way, best mustache on a card ever, I think. Incredible is that. You have boxers. There's another a couple of baseball guys up there, Clarkson and Carruthers. Then this is the most popular page of all of them because it's got Timothy Keefe, who's Hall of Famer. Bennett, I'm not sure if he's a Hall of Famer or not. Cap Anson at the top, and then King Kelly at the bottom. So that's probably the most popular page out of all of them. You do have some other guys here. And the color is just like so incredible. I mean, this really should be framed probably. But anyway, and there's the creepy Allen and Ginter guy again. So all of this just created by hand. Just a beautiful, wonderful piece of history and art, really, when it comes to baseball. So So here's my copy of the album. I've been looking for quite a while. I'm super excited to have it. Might as well show a picture of my copy of Monty Ward there with the album. And so that's exactly how what they wanted is they wanted these cards to be glued on top of these pictures here. So that's my understanding anyways. But anyways, I love the coloring, like I said. Just and by the way, you might wonder why Topps creates cards with players outdoors or with palm fronds and everything. That was actually a callback to 19th century baseball card collecting, because pieces like this were heavily influenced by Victorian era art, and so that's why you have the palm fronds here and everything. So it's wildly different from today, of course. So before I wrap this up here, I do want to kind of go through a few Allen & Ginter cards nowadays, just to kind of do a little fun stark contrast of where we've gone. And by the way, I did a little print of this as well. So this I just clicked print on a piece of computer paper, and that came out. But and it's wildly different. Like you feel these, like this just seems so cheap, and of course it could have been made a lot better. We've got a lot more technology these days, but this actually literally feels like art. You feel that this is old, and that nobody living on the planet today has experienced these guys playing. So just such a neat piece. But anyway, so there's kind of new and old there. This one's nothing, it's worthless, but this one here, beautiful piece. So before I wrap up, I want to kind of show like I said, a few cards that Topps does, as well as a few that I've done in the vein of Allen & Ginter. So to start off with, I'm going to go pretty quickly here. A double rip card. If you don't know what that is, if you actually rip the top to bottom of this, you'll actually have a mini card in here. It's a little surprise. You can have a 1 of 1, you can have a wood card, you have a metal card, you have a red ink autograph card. This is a double rip card, so the back has the same. I took a magnet to this and it sticks, so there's actually a metal card on one side of this. I will never rip this, because the only reason I have this card is because of Canseco, and that's I don't care if I have Trout or anybody in the inside. This is the best for me. So here is a red ink autograph number 10. This card is made of silk. This card is made of metal. This is a stained glass card. See that? You can kind of see through that there. And last but not least, this is a glow-in-the-dark card, which is really cool, guys. Like, how fun is that? So this card is from like 2018. It was like right around when I stopped super collecting, and it came out and I go, oh man, I can't believe I missed out on a glow-in-the-dark card, and I finally just picked one up. So this is fun. It looks very unassuming in the light, but when you turn off lights, it glows. So really cool. Now here's a few cards that I've created in the same vein of Allen & Ginter. So I'll kind of show off. I'll go ahead and just show off two. This is the first one that I did. You'll see it's a button card. I'm not sure if you can tell or not, but this actually entire thing was made out of his jersey, Jose's jersey, that he wore for me personally at his house. So it's not just like a jersey card where there's a little piece of jersey or button or whatever. This entire thing is made out of the jersey. And it says on the back, one of a kind, made entirely from a jersey worn by Jose Canseco. And last but not least is this here. Hang on one sec, actually. This is quite possibly one of my favorite customs I've done ever. This is actually a wood card made entirely out of a piece of game used bat from Jose Canseco. I created this a couple years ago, I think. Well, more than a couple years ago now, I guess. But I had Jose sign it when I was at his house. The back has my picture again. And, I think that's what bat card should be. I think the entire card should be full wood, made completely out of the bat. So anyways, there it is. So anyways, yeah, kind of fun how Allen and Ginter from 1888 has inspired all kinds of designs, whether it be from Topps or even from me, to create some really, really cool cards. So that's all I have. If you have any questions about 19th century baseball cards or anything in general, I mean, I'd be happy to help. I love this stuff. I love talking 19th century baseball. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a great day.